Okay, going to be doing a quickie review on the upcoming 3 heroes. I believe that they're Lee, Azrael, and Angela. First thing I'm going to say is, damn, they're all amazing. Now, something that a lot of people don't know about paper heroes. There's different classes for like certain kinds of stats. They're generally, these heroes all have this stat at this number and things like that. One of those numbers is 8,040 attack. Now, Jin has 8,040 attack, for base attack. Other than her, I believe, the top 3 attack heroes are Lee has 88, Rage and Lily have 84. That's 1 rock, 1 paper, 1 scissor for the 3 highest base attacks in the game. But as for the 8,000s, other than Jin, every other hero, there's like 6 or 7 of them. They're all paper, and a lot of them are not out yet. Azrael's 1, Angela's 1, Klein is 1. Just saying, some pretty OP stuff going down here. What's Nirvana at? 63. His skills are broken as hell. Can't believe he gets 2 advantageous terrains. Anyway, oh man, he's so good. Nirvana's gonna be like the only real amazing healer. Wait, what? Recovers the individual's attack over time. That's pretty badass. I really like his passive too. Every time he gets attacked, like he's kind of a PvE-esque healer, but healers just really don't belong in PvP. Anyway, gonna get into this. First off, Azrael, I've been looking forward to him for a very long time, even though he's clearly the king of leg day issues, as you can see right through there. Wow, look at those tiny little legs. Well, I guess you don't need legs when you've got wings, right? Anyway, the only things I don't like about Azrael is his low mana pool and his really short range skills. Other than that, his skills are pretty damn awesome. Like, they've all got really, really cool effects. He's really, really tanky for an attack type hero, and he's got like so much utility, it's ridiculous. He removes debuffs. Sorry, he removes buffs, I mean. And debuffs at the same time. I don't like the fact that it's got to be over 50%, but that's generally the time that you're going to want it done most of the time. His initial skill has an MP burn, which is kind of cool because it can hit 2 people. His third skill is one of these area damage heals, so looks like a worse area than Moose, but it increases HP and trades. Sorry. And drains damage. Or, I don't know how to interpret the 20% of HP. If it's 20% of the damage to HP, that makes the most sense, but it could be some really broken shit, like 20% of the total HP. If it was 20% of the total HP, then we would have like a way better version of Jack right here. Plus he's paper. Oh, so much better. I really think this passive is cool. Ignore all terrain damage. Now, what would really be cool about this is can walk on all terrains. I don't know if he can yet, but it'll be really cool if he can. He's got 5 movement for a 4th slot hero. If you don't want to run with a tank, then you're gonna have some issues not running with a tank. To be completely honest, but he would be a fantastic 4th slot hero. Super, super strong. Look at his defense and his HP. He's basically just better than Chris at being a tank, and he's an attack type hero. I don't know if attack type heroes are going to be super amazing with that new Slime King set, unless you're able to one-shot people. So having a crap ton of attack is going to be a big beneficial thing for attack type heroes. But his crit rate, hit rate are fairly mediocre, to be completely honest. His mastery is very high. His like I said, the only thing that I really am bothered with is his mana pool is very low. Now, hopefully these skills don't cost that much mana to use. But we'll see when he comes out. He's got to be pretty damn strong. So I think he'll be probably the easiest boss to beat of all of the bosses in Ashen. And that is because, for the very obvious reason, if you immobilize him, he won't be able to do anything to you. So that's kind of cool. His recruitment information says Ashen 12, Land of Extinction 2. I told people that they can find this information here, so I just want to clarify one thing. Somebody thought Ashen 12, because they read the 12, thought that it was the 12th island, which is not true. It's Ashen Island, 12th map, Land of Extinction 2. So, just so you're aware. Assuming the one before that is called Land of Extinction 1. That's about it for Azrael. He's going to be a bit of a powerhouse. I like the fact that he's got 5 movement, which is always useful for any melee hero. Any melee hero without 5 movement is going to be kind of lackluster. He's going to be very self-sustaining and very, very useful, just generally all the time. I don't think that he is so amazing that he can take the place of really anybody in my current PvP party, for example. Though I do think he'd be a pain in the ass to fight against. If Scissor wasn't so dominantly powerful right now, then I think that paper heroes like this would be really, really cool. Like the thing with the whole rock paper scissors relationship is, I think the best straight up damage dealer in the game is probably going to be Jenny in terms of practical damage for everybody. The highest damage dealer is probably going to be Jenny, just because of her the way that crit damage works and calculates. Like she's probably got the highest damaging potential. But Chenny's going to be the most consistent. Also, Chenny just does it by herself. She doesn't need to have another paper hero around. But I'm kind of curious as to where he would fit in. In PvP, he really only fits in the 4th slot as a melee hero. You might want to run him in your 1st slot if you find that there's tons of jacks, and Azrael would obviously lay the smackdown on him with his badass looking spear scepter thing. It's like a staff and a spear at the same time. But that's about it for Azrael. The character I'm most excited for is definitely Psychokinetic Lee, but we're going to look at Iron Princess Angela first. This character, somehow, which, like, this is the part I don't understand. Their kingdom gets conquered, and like one of the strongest heroes in the game is right here. She is so strong, it's outrageous. First off, 8,000 attack, 300 base mana pool, 26,000 HP. Defense, 22%. Crit rate and hit rate, both base over 1,000. Mastery, 86%, 8,600. Like, the amount of investment you need to put into this character to make her amazing is almost nothing. So what's the downside? Well, it's right here. Her 3rd skill is so strong that it can hurt allies too, because when you're the queen and princess of everything, then you don't give a damn. I think they should have called her Honey Badger Angela instead of Iron Princess Angela, because she's going to beat the shit out of everybody and she don't give a damn. But she's going to be probably played quite a lot in PvP. I think that she would be a fantastic hero in the 3rd slot to replace Kai if you want to have a more paper heavy team. If I think that Chenny Kai could easily be replaced by Jenny Angela because of their synergizing their paper type with one another. The downside is on the square map, Angela will go in and kill your tank, most likely. But that's perfectly fine. On the square map, generally, if your tank is doing its job, she'll walk in there and just clean house pretty easily, and then it'll be end of story. But she's got a 100% chance to remove all buffs and debuffs, which is nice. Removing the debuffs, not so nice, to be completely honest, now that I think about it, but removing the buffs, what's I'm curious about is if the effect will still work, even if she's dodged. So, like, if she fires this at Dominique, will it take off Dominique's dodge? Things like that I'm really curious about. It's kind of a nice effect to have, removing buffs from with your strongest attack. It's pretty cool. Okay, let's see. This is just a straight strong damage, small square attack. Not particularly amazing, nothing really good to say about here. It's kind of going to be like Chenny's second skill, where you sometimes use it if you don't have any mana, but it's really not that useful at all. It is nice, though, that she can cast it and completely cure herself from everything. Now, the downside is the really common debuffs that you're going to run into are going to be stun or charm or disarm, which means you can't actually deal with those things anyway. Confusion's always going to use your basic skill, so this can only really remove things like lower attack or lower defense and things like that. Okay, inflicts damage equal to 97% of attack on enemy and increase attack by 300 for 3 turns. Up to 4 effects are accumulated. This is kind of okay if you can only ever use your auto attack, but generally it's just nice to have skills on the first slot that actually do something instead of just damage. For the most part, she's just going to clean house with this skill right here, and her passive is going to blow things away. I'd like to see what the max attack and defense is for this. I would assume it's like Serendi's, so it'll be going up by 1% per level. So it'll be, I guess, 13 at max level. And the defense, I don't think she'll have more than 1,500 to 2,000 extra defense, but we'll see. Like, she's definitely a hero to keep your eye on. She's going to be amazing. Now, the only thing that I don't like about Angela is Klein is so much better. So when he comes out, oh, it's going to be amazing. Now, just his crit rate and his hit rate are not as amazing. His mana pool is a little bit lower. His health is a bit higher. They have the same attack. He's got very, very, very minor difference in mastery, and the same thing for defense. So Klein's going to be a crazy-ass powerhouse. I don't like the fact that he has the Barsark passive, because it's one that's not going to be used unless you're actually losing, which is generally not a good thing. Maybe it's a cool thing to have if you have a gold tiger set on Klein, and he's the last one left standing. That'd be badass, but he has the same hitbox as Jenny. Also, if they have any movement debuffs on them, they take additional damage, which, if depending, it could really bring in a lot of characters that are not played so much now. He has the lava advantageous terrain, which is kind of not that useful, but Klein is a character I'm definitely looking forward to. He's got crazy ass area damage, and he's just going to be so damn strong and so damn useful. The only thing I'm curious about is to whether he's actually even going to be, like, with his amazing stats, is he actually going to be able to outperform Jenny? Now, the thing about Jenny is, no matter how amazing her damage is going to be, she's always going to be squishy, squishy, squishy. So maybe Klein can come in, maybe not put the same kind of numbers up as her, but he'll definitely be able to take a lot more hits. Anyways, going on to the heroes that are actually coming out, let's look at the King of Everything, Psychokinetic Lee. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are pretty psyched about this. Glacier Advantageous Terrain. Boom. Love them already. That's like my favorite advantageous terrain. It's so useful. His passive is absolutely bad. It's just not good at all. I don't like it, and I don't think it's ever going to be particularly even used. That's the thing about certain characters that I feel are really, really broken. They need to have some kind of drawback, which is what's so great about Trini, because her only drawback is her second skill. Now, he can only give himself one buff. If I believe anyway, I'm pretty sure it's just the one buff. So if he doesn't have somebody else to cast a buff on him, he cannot even turn his passive on. So it's going to be very useless in PvP. But what is nice is he has a 5 range skill. So 5 range skill heroes generally extremely useful. There's going to be tons of times where there's something that's always 5 range away, or there's even bosses like the attack stone, the weapon storage. It gets up to 5 range away in the higher stages. Like, you need to have characters like this if you want to farm things like that efficiently. He's also got the armor ignore. I believe it ignores the same amount as Chenny's, which is going to be around 2,000 or so at max. But very, very strong hero. Again, like I mentioned before about attack type heroes with the slime skill, it's going to be something that maybe attack heroes are getting a little bit of a nerf, to be completely honest. But if the God of Massacre set ever comes out, you can expect that Lee is going to be in slot 1 for everybody, just going around one-shotting everything in the game. He is going to hit like a monster truck, and he's just going to clean house all the time. Now, the only thing I don't like is his skill only hits 1. So I do feel that Chenny is still more universally useful, because especially on like the ice map, for example, it's just going to be a lot easier. Now, what Lee's going to be able to do is he's going to be able to range people on the ice map and pick off one at a time, which is cool. But his first skill doesn't do anything, just does damage. It's got a decent range to it, but like, why would you use that when you can have 2 5 range skills that are way better over here? Looking back at his base stats, his mana pool is fairly high, his attack is the highest in the game, his movement's only 3, mastery's good, crit rate is really high, and his hit rate can use some work, to be honest. His defense is actually not that bad. 1,400 defense is it's decent enough for a base defense. You gotta consider a lot of heroes have like very, very, very small defense base stats. Like anything over 2,000 is considerably. It's kind of considered like an off tank amount of base defense to have. Very easy heroes to build up to that 50% defense range where things are just magical for you. Lee will probably be able to get 50% defense quite easily. I have it on my Chenny. I don't see any reason why I can't do it on Lee. He'll probably need a Ghost Step set or a Pathfinder set to make him super viable. But with his range, you might just be able to get along without it, to be completely honest. Ghost Step sets are generally for amazing positioning, so you can pick off big groups of people. Is I find the most useful thing about the Ghost Step set is to take advantage of early formations where characters are all bunched up together with a big area attack and get them from where they're not seeing it coming. Because Lee's generally just going to be hitting one target at a time, I don't think that he really, really needs it, because he does have the 5 range. But he's probably going to need to be in slot 1 to compensate for his 3 movement, because on the ice map he's just going to be completely useless, even though he is glacier terrain, unless he can get up close right away. But really excited to see Lee. I think that Lee is going to be my go-to hero. I think he'll be the first one that I 5-star, because I'm really excited to see if he's actually going to be stronger than Chenny. So I am pretty stoked about Lee. I really, I'm going to make a paper team, instead, like a rock paper instead of a rock scissor, with Angela and Jenny at some point in time. But I don't know which one I'm going to have to settle on. I don't want to have to pay crystals to equip my best gear and swap teams around and things like that frequently, so I might just put it on the back burner after I try it out a couple times and see how it fits. If I find that it's doing amazing, I'll go for it, but the thing is, if I go with the paper team, I've got 2 heroes with 3 movement, and I would need to be kind of invested in Pathfinders or Ghost Step sets to kind of make that work really, really solid. What I like about my team right now is it's very well balanced in terms of attack, movement, defense, and area damage. Like, I really don't feel like I'm lacking anything. I got a super tank, I got crazy damage, I've got great effects on my my characters, I've got good hitboxes. Like, I really think that I've got a very refined team. But Lee just looks so cool. I think that while he's in game, like, I know in the boss map he's got like this Super Saiyan aura around him. If he has that when you get him, then this is gonna be awesome. I don't really like his costume though. It's just like him, kind of at the the beach. And you get him at Ashen 8, which is cool. Which means Angela will be Ashen 4, I guess. Yep. All right. Well, that's going to be it for me here. Only heroes that I'm really interested in right now in getting Excuse me. I'm interested in Lena. I'm interested in Unknown, specifically Unknown for one reason only. That's just to make rock cuckoo farming auto-battleable for me. If I get Lancer Alex and Wanderer Unknown, I'm pretty sure I can make a team for a rock dungeon that I could just hit auto on 10 and just watch anime or do whatever while it's going. Those are the only things that I really want, because right now I'm actually somewhat able to do a paper on auto, but it is kind of dependent on my crits. And sometimes I might just lose a character that I really needed or something like that. If I lose Kai or if I lost Jenny because the dodges didn't work or whatever, like sometimes it's really crappy. And I don't like having to sit there and actually cast my Lord skills to keep my team alive and things like that. Even just hitting Grace at turn 1 is really annoying. But I'm really looking forward to getting those 2 heroes, because I think they got a lot of good, useful things about them. Really looking forward to Klein. Kind of looking forward to Nirvana to see if healers are actually going to be a big part of this game. Persona has some cool things to do. I could actually get them tomorrow, I think. Yep. If I feel like it. But I'm thinking about actually just maxing out Nox's skills. But maybe I'll get Persona just because. I don't use Nox either, so I'm in no rush. I don't really care for anybody else. Like I want all these paper heroes that you see here. I want them pretty bad. But I don't really particularly feel like I kind of want anybody else. Persona, I just want to use him to swap places with Nirvana on the Nirvana map, make things nice and easy for me if I can't just kill him from the range. Hello would be kind of useful, I guess, but it's hard to tell. She's got cool skills to support your team, but generally support characters are not actually good enough to take a spot that would be better suited by somebody who just is another really, really good, solid character. There's enough really, really strong heroes. You can just have a team of all strong heroes instead of having to have this thing to keep your mana up or whatever. It's generally not worth the sacrifice unless it's something. Well, like, does she even have a heal? Let me just double check this. She has MP skill. She has damage over time. Ooh. And stuns them with 30% chance. A basic attack. And yeah, no, she's got nothing to heal, so she's not even really the kind of support that you would generally want. I do want Rage, but I think that he's actually not going to be that amazing, to be completely honest. He seems so strong. I feel like this should be what goes around one-shotting Bearmans, but it's actually 60,000 attack Dominiques that one-shot the Bearman. Anyway, we'll see as people develop things. Maybe just nobody really rich enough has actually gotten Rage yet and invested hardcore into him. Hope you enjoyed the video.